Hi, and welcome back to my video lecture series on how to be an awesome paralegal, legal assistant, or a legal secretary. Now, we've been going through some of the tips and tricks on how to be a very efficient extension of the attorney that you will be working for. If you're working in a firm, you're probably going to be working for at least 3 different attorneys or whatever the workload that you can handle. Now, another part of the process of being an awesome paralegal is an important part. We first learned that, of course, keeping a file up to date and calendaring and following up on cases were the 2 most important things for a successful law practice. And this kind of keys in with that, and that is file organization. Now, depending on the industry that the lawyer practices, they'll be using some different types of organizational methods, whether they put their file into a binder, whether they keep it in a pre-lit folder, whether they keep it in an expando, whatever method that they use, go ahead and get on board with whatever method they use. Usually if it's an attorney that's had an established way of organizing his file, you're probably not going to implement any new method, even if you think that, your method would be, much more sufficient or better than what they're already into. You're going to have to try to be accommodating to what they've got going, and of course, try to implement your methods as well. I mean, there's been a few attorneys where, I've implemented a whole new filing system, and they're very pleased. But from what I've learned, most attorneys are used to their methods of the way that they organize a file, and they really need your help to keep that file organized. One important key factor is a lot of attorneys, some of them do keep their files organized, but I'm going to nitpick on some of the attorneys here that they usually just, whenever they're done with the folder, they looked at what they've seen and they just put whatever right back on top or upside down or whatever. And this can, kind of sometimes make a legal assistant or a secretary, a little, frustrated, but you know what, you're going to have to get over that because your job is there to make the attorney's life easier and, help them out with the time. So that is something you're going to have to get used to as far as organization, to go back in and try to tidy that file back up. But I just wanted to go through some of the different types of file organization, whether you've got the expandos, and then, of course, you will have like the different sections, like your client info, your pleadings, your discovery, or whatever. If you're more of a transactional lawyer, you're going to be, working with binders. I know tax lawyers sometimes use the binders. And up until recently, I was in an office where it was easier to keep the family law system into binders. So that way, now if you're keeping a folder or file in a binder system as opposed to the expando, I do scan. I'm going to teach you later how to scan everything into your network and create a indexing spreadsheet where, if you're trying to look for a specific thing that happened in a case, that way you don't have to go through and try to scroll through all of these scans to get to the right thing. I'm going to teach you how to create an index and hyperlink these items to that index. So that way you just go to the index, you go to the date, you look for the pleading, you can click on the link, and it'll pull it up from the network wherever you scanned it in at. So it's going to be an important part on your role to make sure you're keeping up with things as they are filed and things like that. But with the binders, I never hole punch the originals. If there's going to be an original, I keep that in a safe place. Of course, you scan everything in and put it in your binders. Now, some of these other folders are called pre-litigation files, and they're basically, they open up and they have the prongs on top on either side where you can hole punch on the top and slide it on, and then they can flip through it. That is a very easy method for lawyers to keep their folders together, and some of them have like a it's like a 3-part folder, or it's just a 1-part and you just open it up. And so whatever makes it easy for the attorney, try to get on board with that. If you've got a great idea for organization, do offer that to the attorney, but I just wouldn't go into the files and just creating a new method organization, because you never know, something could happen, and they need to go to court the next day, and if they've got a whole new filing system, they're going to be a little frustrated when they go into court and they can't find whatever they need at hand when they're just so used to their method of practice for organization. So those are some key ideas and tips on file organization.